and we are here for episode number 4. We're already at episode number 4 of the Wrasslin Wroundtable podcast, where we talk about all things pro wrestling, mostly WWE, because that's mostly what we watch. And I've got a question for the audience before we get into any of this that we want to talk about here today. John Cena. Yes, we're still going to be talking about John Cena and what happened with him last weekend at the Elimination Chamber show. But the question is, did he give up or did he give in? And with that, I want to welcome you to episode number 4. I'm Ryan Hall. Dominique Larue's joining us as always. Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Good evening, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Just ready to talk a little wrestling and the fallout from the heel turn that is still shaking up the wrestling world.
I mean, the heel turn just shook everything up from the rest of the world, and then we get the fallout from Rhea losing to Io Sky, and then just like the fallout of Naomi admitting to everything.
Yeah, we finally have at least a next step in that evolution of that story.
Yes.
But I want to start this past Friday night on SmackDown when Cody Rhodes came out and delivered I remember saying in the group chat, this is a big promo. This is an important promo. And he delivered. And he delivered. But he asked the question, but he made a statement that, and my, the question that I asked the audience was not mine. I'd have to credit you on that one, Dom. But one of John Cena's catchphrases has always been never give up. Now, the question that I have for you, and I'm going to give my 2 cents as well, is did he give up? Or did he just finally give in to the temptation that has been chasing him for the past 2 decades?
Yeah, it was kind of ironic that, I came up with that saying when we was talking in the group chat, because I was just thinking about, the whole entire 20 years and everything he stood for, and, all these memes and videos dating back to where, during the era where I didn't really watch WWE that much, but I did kind of peek into it to see what was going on and all this other stuff, and how, CM Punk and Kane and just everybody was throwing daggers at him, this whole slogan of yours, never give up, and you telling all these kids to keep on fighting and never give up and do this and do that. Pretty much the new age Hulk Hogan, but it was pretty much a telltale sign of Hogan gave up. He gave in. He turned to the dark side. So eventually, when will you do it? Because you've showed signs of it, and you still got a dark side, because when you first started in WWE, you had this whole thing where you was dressing up in all the city colors, and you was coming out, and your first match was Kurt Angle, and he was like, what makes you think you could be in the ring with me? And he said ruthless aggression. So where did that ruthless aggression go when you just change your whole persona after the Doctor of Thugonomics? Because you was healed then too. And I still remember that promo he did with the Undertaker. He was in the graveyard and he was just rapping and stuff, and I was like, yo, this is like the signs of him going to be a big time star. You don't cut a promo like that against the Undertaker and
nope,
just not go anywhere with it. So during those years of him being never give up and Super Cena and all this other stuff, people still was like, I can't wait till he turn heel. He should turn heel. He should do this. He should do that. And he never did. So to come Elimination Chamber, and instantly I knew from when Seth curb stomped CM Punk, and he just pulled CM Punk back without no hesitation, no like looking around, looking at the crowd. You know, he'll do that. He just instantly just went in for the kill. So that was the sign. And then also, you know, the sign of him doing that promo where, you know, I'm not finna wrestle. I'm gonna be at Elimination Chamber. I'm gonna be in that match. Like, it's what's good for business. And that slogan right there, what's good for business. What did we hear that slogan from? The Authority.
Yep.
What did the Authority do? They turned Seth Rollins. They screwed over Daniel Bryan, and just anything associated with Authority, you know, that's heel light. So, but I'm all for the heel run. Like you said, the promo that Cody did, it needed to deliver, and it did. And the way he ended that promo was a perfect setup for John Cena when he cuts his promo. He even said, "I know you're gonna come out and you're gonna tell your side and this, that, and the third, and you're even going to give a good speech." Which, you know, anytime John says good speech, he's finna go in for the kill on that promo.
Yep.
So just for him to like literally call out his game plan on his promo is genius. It's kind of a hat tossed down to John for what he did to The Rock. You know, call The Rock out. Like, you're gonna come out here and insult me and call me any kind of names and probably talk about the color of my shirts and all this other stuff. And you know, I'm for the kids and blah blah blah. But, you know, I see through your facade. Like, I know who you are. And, you know, like, just come with your best, because at the end of the day, I'm the new Johnson. I'm that guy who has been carrying the company now. And like, to point out the fact that he said it gets heavier, the belt, and then him to say, you know, it's light. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know, it's basically my story was heavier than achieving the belt. Like, me being the champion now is light work compared to chasing for the title, basically.
Right.
So, in retrospect, like with that question, I basically asked it because it was, you know, John has been, ever since he beat AJ Styles to get 16, that question has always came up: when he's gonna break 17? When is he gonna do it? Where is he gonna do it? How is he gonna do it? This, that, and third. So I think it just got heavier and heavier, the pressure of breaking that record. Would he break that record? So I think he gave in because he needed that boost to get over the hump. So
I feel like my opinion is very similar to yours, in that, just kind of from a storytelling perspective here, John Cena is not a young man in this business. He's almost 48 years old. He's not a young man in this business. He's been at this for a while. His body's probably beat up. He still looks like he's cut out of granite, but his body still looks like he's beat up. And you've seen the videos of him just pulling just insane deadlifts and squats, and just, he trains super heavy. And your skills do diminish over time. But the thing, getting back to that Royal Rumble press conference, that really stood out to me was the line, I forget the exact wording that he used, but I want to win 17. I want to win the 17th, for my 17th championship, so I can shake the hand of the man who beats me. I know that's not exactly word for word the quote, but I feel like that line right there is almost going to be a microcosm of the storyline as it plays out, because I feel like heel turn is because he knows his, yes, we know that it's predetermined, but he knows that his skills are diminishing. He knows that his return is diminishing in the ring.
And his retirement is coming up.
And his retirement is staring him in the face. He wanted to go all out and do whatever he had to do to get that 17th championship. And I feel like that needs to be the storyline. Just what lengths a man will go to for that championship. And I'll go ahead and share it. I feel like he needs a stable to back him up. I feel like it doesn't need to be just the one guy, because let's face it, the final boss, he's too busy with his movie career. He's not going to be around. Honestly, John Cena is too busy with his movie career to really be around. But he needs a stable. And I feel like get like 2 or 3 guys. It doesn't have to be like the NWO, like there's 800 guys at the end. But I feel like get 3 just badass guys to back him up. I feel like the Street Profits are my number one choice, by the way.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, I'm always about number one. I'm always about Montez Ford because I've preached and said that I feel like he's definitely bigger than a tag team. He's looking like he could be that guy like Jey Uso, and Dawkins could be like no disrespect to him at all, but like a mid card, like he could be in the midst of a U.S. title or any kind of title or just whatever title they may come up with next. But to circle back before we get on that fraction,
right? Yeah.
The promo, yes. Well, actually, not even the promo too. The promo he did when he came back and he announced his retirement. He was like, "I want to give back to you, the fans. I want to, give my love letter back to you guys. And like every city I go to, I want to embrace that city one last time." I think he was literally telling us then in that promo, like everything y'all been wanting from me, I'm gonna give it to y'all on this final run. You've been wanting me to be healed. I'm gonna give you that. You've been wanting me to be in all these matches with these guys and these dream matches, basically. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Yeah. So in order for him to do that, obviously he had to change who he is, basically, because you can't go in a match and granted, we love to see our characters that we love stay the same, but eventually you kind of have to evolve. And then also, we don't want no disrespect, but we don't want a Charlotte versus Tiffany match, basically, like the same thing.
Yeah.
We want something different. We want something that can counteract with each other. So not only is we getting a heel John Cena, but the heel John Cena versus all these characters that we've seen develop over the years is fantastic. Now we get Randy Orton has become a babyface, basically. Yeah. So, we can't get, a heel John and a heel Randy, they had to be together. Or, okay, now coming back to the idea you had, it's so many people that I've came up to my mind when you were saying that, and I want the Street Profit to get out of that whole. I mean, they're still gonna be a tag team, but I still want them to kind of branch off from each other, kind of like a New Day thing, like how Kofi and Big E kind of went off and started doing singles things too, but still stay together in that realm. Street Profits could be one, but as stuff started developing in my head and I seen stuff going on SmackDown and stuff, I still feel like Solo is still gonna be kind of in that realm of helping The Rock in a sense. It could be Street Profit and Solo, or it could be Solo, John, and who's to say that Drew might not join, because at the end of the day, he still has his beef with the bloodline, but he did make sure to say that, I'm going after the OG bloodline, the ones that, cost me the title. Like, yeah, Solo, you cost me the title, but you was working under Roman. So, my gripe is not with you because you have beef with Roman too. So anybody that got beef with Roman, I'm going to join. So then that sets up, after WrestleMania, the whole plot of we're going to go into potentially maybe getting a Survivor Series between Team Roman versus Team Rock. Now, could they possibly do that the whole entire year, like Team Roman versus Team Rock, like all these dominoes effects until we get to next year's WrestleMania and get Rock versus Roman? I don't know. I doubt it. Rock has a crazy work schedule. John has a crazy work schedule, but John, is completely free next year because it's his whole retirement run. So,
yep.
But it's just, man. I get it. I get it, Final Boss. You got 10 steps ahead of us. You know your schedule better than anybody. I just, like you said, in the world of wrestling, we don't know. One injury away could just change everything. So,
absolutely. One injury could totally derail this whole thing.
Right.
I don't wish that on anybody, but guys beat their bodies to absolute hell week in and week out.
And people say wrestling fate. Right.
Should have seen the pictures of Liv Morgan after that Elimination Chamber match. Beaten and bruised and cut up she was.
We had a picture of old American Nightmare with that shiner on his eye.
Oh, there you go. Travis Scott over there selling merchandise. Oh, wrestling is real. Oh, brother, you got a hell of a receipt coming, my friend.
I hope it comes from Cody too, because because Bubba Ray is definitely. He said he got a worse receipt than Cody if Cody don't get it. So
Bubba Ray, if he got his hands on him, may kill him.
Yeah, he'll slam him through 3 tables.
Yeah.
It's just like, I get it. I get the whole celebrity thing, and like his interest, his music is for the WrestleMania and everything. But like, if you're not a professional wrestler, it's really no need for you to get involved in the storyline unless you. And I get it. He probably been working out the PC,
right?
But come on, man. It's still you take him out of that. You take him out of that moment. Nobody is mad about that. It should have just been The Rock and John Cena. Them two only.
You've got enough star power right there.
Right then and there, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that Travis Scott, he's doing business with WWE. His music is all over the WrestleMania build.
But we
got enough star power with those 3 guys to run anything.
I just don't get it, because like we've had Bad Bunny, we've had The Weeknd on multiple WrestleManias, and you didn't see like only Bad Bunny got involved with like he's good friends with Damien, so I can see why.
Right.
But like you see The Weeknd get involved, and like granted it was around the COVID era of stuff, but you just don't need that. Like, I'm not saying Travis not bringing any fans in it, but it's like it's already fans involved anyway with The Rock and like John Cena. They in movies and stuff, so they bringing all those fans over there, and then even Jay, like just the wrestling fans alone. But then also on top of that, it's like us as wrestling fans, we're going to like promote their stuff with our shirts and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, what you got to eat for?" or whatever. It's just like it's from wrestling, so obviously they're going to look into it and see what's going on. and either vibe with it or don't vibe with it. But like have Travis Scott of all people, like
it make it to me. It makes as much sense as bringing in Liberace in the first WrestleMania. I don't get it.
yeah, and
I
don't
mean,
get me wrong, I just still can't believe what Trump was involved in anything WWE. But I mean, at the time, it was different times back then. So
different times, yeah, different times,
yeah.
yeah. Um, Before we move on, I do one more thing that I wanted to share that just has come out today is that on December 13th, I believe is the date. Saturday night's main event is going to be in Boston. Could that very well be John Cena's final match?
I already know in your mind it could be as a storyteller,
Right.
but it's like, okay, I hear John, basically this WrestleMania up and coming is gonna be his last. I get it. But as wrestling fan, WrestleMania was the pinnacle. So it's like the grandest stage of them all, like the end all be all. And from WrestleMania to the next WrestleMania, it's always been that year for me. That's considered a year for me as a wrestling fan.
Yep.
Well, could I see December 13th? Yes, because that's his city, that's his home. That'll officially make a year for him, as far as like announcing he's going to give it up. This is it. But like you said, there's so many twists and turns and things that could happen to where like they have to push the story a little bit more to the next WrestleMania. But as far as him, it could like, that page could be closed on him and he could be done. And then like, because the bloodline storyline is so enriched. It's like we literally, like, yes, it's John versus Cody for the title or whatever, but like for Roman to be in the back burner and everybody's still thinking about Roman. Like no matter what you say, we got a cage match coming up Monday night with Seth and CM Punk, and the first thing pops in all our mind is Roman gonna get involved in the match? And then like even the fact of the matter is you have Jey Uso, former OG member of Bloodline. He's going after the world title. You have The Rock, who is Roman Reigns' cousin. He's the final boss. He's over. He's literally has a table at TKO's, ownership, and like he's part of the Bloodline.
The High Chief.
So it's like no matter what storyline is going on in WWE, the big be all, say all, be all is the Bloodline.
And let's also not forget all those Bloodline guys have like
and all the Bloodline guys, yes,
all like 10 kids apiece. So
like
you got years and years.
You can take their whole entire family line and just make a whole new wrestling promotion just off of them.
Exactly.
Wow. So, but it's just like I get it, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the whole entire like WrestleMania and just all the different storylines. But at the end of the day, the main one, the number one storyline that has started from when COVID hit to it's still going on is Bloodline. When does Roman, he got his Ulafala, so he's the tribal chief again. So when does he put his foot down and start getting his receipts? I mean, like everybody involved right now has a hand in him losing that title. So when does he get his get back for losing that title to Cody?
That's this is going to be a fun 6 weeks before WrestleMania. It's going to be just here we were thinking that it was going to be kind of lame, kind of boring, kind of
Yeah, kind of like just predictable-ish, kind of.
right, almost Vince McMahon kind of booking, but no,
Yeah, nah,
no,
nah,
no,
nah, 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 nah,
nah,
nah.
nah, that ain't it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, we have some new champions to talk about. I want to talk about that women's match. I want to talk about that Rhea Ripley Io Sky match.
Yeah,
First of all, it was an incredible match. But what do you think about taking that title off of Rhea Ripley?
well, my thoughts are, first of all, congratulations to Io Sky, first and foremost. She's a great talent. To be honest, I thought when they was pushing the whole thing about Io being undefeated to Rhea, I thought Rhea was going to beat Io Sky just off of that, just to break that record. But when it didn't, I was like, oh wow, they was really pushing that undefeated streak. So we really going into like Io Sky is basically mama's kryptonite. And then when Bianca came out, which there's another reason why I knew Rhea probably was gonna lose, because any little interference is big interference.
Mm-hmm.
So Rhea turning her attention to Bianca, I was like, oh, okay, yep, this is looking like it's going to be some. As one of our members in our group always says, it's always going to be shenanigans going on. So when Io Sky won, I was like, okay, yep, we're finna do a triple threat. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, it's somehow gonna be a triple threat in the WrestleMania, which I'm not against, because as much as Jeremy hates triple threats, I actually love triple threats, because I can name a whole bunch of triple threat matches that I loved in the recent years, like Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman. That was a good one. Finn Balor, Miz, and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title. That was a great triple threat. Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther for the Intercontinental title. That was a banger.
That was a banger. Yeah, that was a banger.
So, like, if done right, you can have a 5-star match with a triple threat. And those three dynamics are great with each other. Because, as I've told you numerous times, I've always wanted Mommy versus Bianca. But then when you throw Io Sky in it, who's somebody that's athletic, high flyer, now it shifts a little bit, but also it's kind of like the cherry on top of a perfectly good cupcake.
Yeah.
Because you have two powerhouses. One is more athletic than like Rhea's is all power. Like, she got skill with it too, but she's more power. Kind of a submissionist, because she does has a submission move. Bianca is like flashier with her power. She's very athletic. She's very speedy and quick. And then you got Io, who's like just athletic as hell. Can flip, all that other stuff. So it adds a good dynamic that I'm looking forward to with that. Like, I wanted Bianca versus Rhea, no matter what. But to get that, I'm not mad at it.
I'm not either.
It's just the fact that I can't believe Triple H pulled the trigger on Rhea losing the belt on the road to WrestleMania, which, it's happened in the past. We've seen it numerous times over the years. People lose it, fight for it, blah, blah, blah. But, like, Bianca literally came off of Elimination Chamber thinking, I'm going to fight you. And then, like, I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of see it, because when Bianca was just standing there looking at the sign, and then Rhea came out and they looking at face to face, and then Io coming out, that was instantly a foreshadowing of this is your WrestleMania match between them three. And this is what they've been doing recently. They literally been foreshadowing stuff to us, like, hey, this is like that State Farm commercial with that dude. It was like, oh, you got to be quicker than that.
Right.
It's like right in your face. Like, hey, pay attention because this is what I'm finna give y'all.
Yeah. Two things really come to mind on this. First of all, I think I feel like Rhea Ripley losing the title can give her character a little bit more edge.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut y'all. You remember? Did you see the promo she did after the match?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
yeah. And that's kind of what I was referring to because like for so long she was kind of she was the girl on the Judgment Day. She was the quote girlfriend of Dominic Mysterio. And like I kind of feel like it was going stale because Rhea Ripley, when she's at her best, she is a killer. She is a stone cold killer. And I feel like if we can get that edge back, that's going to make this match incredible. But a thing that comes to mind, speaking of the triple threat match, one that I really loved was Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Triple H as the main event of WrestleMania 30. First of all, I love the way that match ended. First of all, I love the finish of it.
Yes.
But you've got Daniel Bryan, who was the kind of the high flyer, kind of the high flying submission specialist. You had Batista, who was the muscle
powerhouse,
and the powerhouse, and then you had Triple H, who was kind of the establishment end of things.
Well, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Yeah, it was Randy Orton and Triple H. Never mind, but still, same dynamic.
Yes, I done that.
Yeah, same dynamic, and you've got that with Rhea, Io, and Bianca. You've got Io, who's the big high flyer. You've got Bianca, who's kind of the establishment, and then you have Batista, and Rhea Ripley. That match has the potential to steal the whole show if they book it right.
Okay. Night 1 and night 2. What you believe?
Night 2. Night 2. I feel like that needs to be maybe not the co-main event, but maybe second from last. Maybe like the end of the third, maybe like the beginning of the third hour or something like that.
Right.
Because and we're gonna get to this, but I feel like Jade Cargill and Naomi need to go on night 1.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know what episode we do. Probably closer to WrestleMania, but I think we need to do a segment where we decide once we get our full card established. Do we like what we feel is those should have been night 1 shot and night 2, or maybe we just have it before they have a full night match card and just like predict what it's gonna be.
I feel like that match, like that triple threat, I feel like it could either lead off night 2 or maybe be like the top of the third hour in night 2. Kind of that Undertaker spot for the last few years.
Yeah. You get the crowd back into the night and get them hyped.
Exactly. And speaking of new champions, Shinsuke Nakamura finally got knocked off. LA Knight took it away from him.
Yeah, I got some thoughts on that.
I think we both do. But Shinsuke Nakamura, I like him, but his title reign was garbage. They booked him like a chump um like it took away from his, and and admittedly his brother passed away, so
Yeah.
the we and our hearts go out to him obviously, but
Yeah.
it kind of took away from his momentum. um but at the same time, I feel like LA Knight, who I also am a fan of, I feel like not at WrestleMania, but I feel like down the road he's gonna get sacrificed to Jacob Fatu.
I love that idea. I I'm a fan of LA Knight. Don't get me wrong. I do love LA Knight.
Yeah,
I think LA Knight has hit that. Me personally, I think LA Knight has hit that wall where okay, his momentum was going skyrocketing. He was skyrocketing, but then he kind of hit that bloodline wall where you know, um, I think somebody did cost him that belt when it solo on them when he was fight. I think he was fighting Shinsuke and he lost the belt because of the bloodline. But basically, he was projected to be like that guy too. At first I thought he was gonna win the belt against Roman. Now, granted, that was just part of me felt like that, but I knew he wasn't. But I was like, oh snap, they really putting him in the match with Roman. That means they see him as a main eventer or whatever. But it kind of died down. I guess it was like, okay, well, the crowd loves him. We need to put a title on him soon. So let's just, throw the US title on him or whatever. And he finally had a title. And like, yes, he finally got a title. And everybody, yeah, and yeah, yeah. And then he loses to Shinsuke. And I'm just like, I sometimes when you lose to someone, no disrespect to Shinsuke, he's a former, NXT champion and all this other stuff. It's just like kind of like where the character is doesn't make sense to me. Like LA Knight was already like, a mid carder with a potential to be main eventer. Shinsuke is a mid carder with a potential of being kind of like that jobber because he wasn't being featured that much.
right.
He was doing this whole thing with the uh, the character he was doing where he was like feeding off their fear or whatever. I don't know what the hell that was, but
Right.
it was just like losing to him kind of like brought LA's Knight Thunder a little bit down. Like if he would have lost to Drew or Sheamus or somebody with more
Breaker or somebody like that. Yeah.
yeah, it would make sense. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I get it. Or better yet, like a WWE 2K ranking. Like if LA Knight is 85 or whatever, and he loses to Shinsuke, who's 81, but you got these guys over here that are 87 and above. Like I get that. I understand why he lost the belt to them, but I'm glad he got the belt back. But I really need him to like either elevate more talent or just like lose it to somebody that's like, okay, me, this is how I feel about it. Montez Ford, Big Jim, guys like that, like, that are established as Hall of Famers. At the end of the day, Jimmy Uso is a Hall of Famer,
Yes.
but he never had a title run. So kind of like in that realm, like Xavier Woods, even though he's on Raw, but like I can see him winning the US title because
But still on that same level. Yeah.
same level, yes. So no disrespect to LA Knight, I love him and I'm glad he got the title back. I just don't need no more matches where he's fighting like your guy off of he was with Rey Mysterio Esteban. I don't need no match like that. I don't need him fighting Esteban. I don't need him fighting Chisaba, what's his name? Off of Academy. What's his face?
Yeah. Chad Gable.
Well, Chad Gable's fine. Chad, I can see him fighting, but I'm talking about the new Alpha Academy.
Tozawa, maybe?
Tozawa, yeah. I don't need him fighting Tozawa. I don't need him fighting those like certified jobbers. I don't need him fighting those. I need him fighting like former world champions, former like undisputed champions. I need that. I don't need no more of those. For me to feel credibility for him having the U.S. title, I need him to fight them type of guys.
Elevate other talent, just
elevate other talent. Elevate himself, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And elevate that title. Like, oh my God, the U.S. title has been like, ever since it got off of Bobby Lashley, it has kind of like went down.
Yeah. The way that I always saw as I've said on this show, I grew up NWA, Georgia Championship Wrestling, WCW. That was kind of where I really cut my teeth. And the U.S. title, same lineage, but the U.S. title was like their version of the Intercontinental title. It was like the workers' title. It was like, it was like guys like Arn Anderson, like Dusty, just the guys who will go out and fight every TV taping.
Yeah.
And elevating some big time talent. And it almost feels like the way that it's gone now since they took it off of Bobby Lashley, whatever happened to him, by the way, but ever since they took it off of, over there hanging out with that flippy dippy guy over in AEW, but don't get me started on Ricochet, but like the prestige of it is gone.
Yeah.
The punch of it is gone.
They put it on Logan Paul, for God's sakes.
God, I wish you hadn't have said that.
Like, you know how I feel about it. You know how I feel about it, right? You know I talked about it in the group chat. Like, how you put that title, any kind of title, U.S. title, world title, any title, you put that on Logan Paul. I get it. He was trying to get people involved with it. He gonna show it on his podcast, blah, 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 whatever. But, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but he is great work in the ring. Like, I can give him his props. I give his props. He's phenomenal in the ring. Like, athletic is top notch. But you don't have that much credibility to win the U.S. title. Like, you beat The Miz. Don't get me wrong, The Miz is one of the GOATs, but
Hall of Famer.
But it's just not. It's not like you out here beating Roman and John Cena and all this other stuff. Like, it's just I can't.
It's Logan Paul.
And it's okay, yeah. At the end of the day,
Paul.
Outside of his physical abilities, his personality, I hated it. Yes, I hated the fact that he won the title. Yes. So I was so glad they got it off of him and put it on LA Knight. And now with him having the title, again, let's elevate him and that title. Let's bring back the prestige of that title. Let's bring back, like, you got a killer over there on Raw and Braun Breaker. Yes. Like, it didn't like that IC title didn't diminish when you took it off of Gunther, put it on Sammy. Sammy is a great worker. Sammy lost it. Like, you see where it's going. Like,
absolutely,
I need you to do that with the U.S. title too.
And let's be fair, SmackDown's roster isn't exactly as stacked as what is on Monday night, and I think for good reason, because Netflix wanted the big stars.
Right.
However, you can still elevate what you've got. You can bring somebody up from NXT. You can bring up, Obafemi needs to be on the main roster now. That dude is a killer.
But like, Ryan, like, you remember when SmackDown was first developed, like, they had talent that made SmackDown better, like Eddie Guerrero, Edge, like those type of people. Like, they literally brought that
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit, and they made those titles over there on that show like just must see. Like, they was
must watch TV.
Must watch TV. So
Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, just studs.
Yeah, workers, like all workers. Like I need that title to be on certified workers. LA Knight is a certified worker. He's on the show each and every week. Fans love him. So let's keep that momentum and move like you said, move some guys up from NXT or you got guys over there now, like, once again, Montez Ford. I'm still be preaching it. I don't know how many times I got to say it, but he's great on the mic.
You're preaching to the choir on that one, my friend.
He's great on the mic. He's athletic as hell in the ring. He got that look of a singles guy.
Yeah. To me, Montez Ford is Eddie Guerrero if he was 6'5". Montez Ford has got so much potential. It's insane.
The Riz is like up there.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He's got charisma. He's got a great look. He's just crazy athletic. Yeah. His frog splash is insane.
I'd say
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, if they obviously different characters, but his moveset is like Eddie Guerrero if he was 6'5".
And the way he just throws himself like with no regards. Like the man flips over the ring post and onto people and just does like, I mean, at the end of the day, like Triple H, what this man got to do to show you like because I mean he's literally out there about to kill himself just to get that opportunity of I can be bigger than a tag team guy. Like I can be on the same realm as Jey Uso.
But they got to figure out how to do it right. They got to figure out how to do his singles run right, or else they're gonna make poor Angelo Dawkins into the next Marty Jannetty.
Right. Please, like at the end of the day, don't go to Harlem.
Don't Stevie Ray this man.
Yeah, don't Stevie Ray this man. For God's sakes, don't. Like he could be solid on his own too. Just keep Street Profit together, but let them branch out alone, like how New Day did, slowly but surely. Like, okay, Kofi was a singles guy before he got into New Day, but now he's kind of viewed as a tag team guy. Put him back out there in the world as a singles. Big E, he was a singles guy too. Like at the end of the day, like let's give more talent more opportunity to shine. Yeah,
and you've got way more talent than you really
do. Yeah, you got a factory of talent, and now you got Evolve, and you still got NXT, and this is like, like, come on, let's get this.
Yeah, you've got the what is it, the A&E show that I never watched because everybody's recording it at the same time. Yeah,
LFG. I'm about to say let's go, but who knows, legends and future greats.
Yeah. I mean, you've got so many just incredible stuff. You've got it's a factory. That's a great word for it. It's a factory. Yeah. And it's not cookie cutter anymore like it was when Vince McMahon was doing this. You've got guys different
looks.
Yeah, different looks, different personalities. It's not all these like big beefcake guys. It's like you've got different looks. Like, yeah, I mean, you've got different looks, you've got different skills, talents, all that stuff, and they're being mentored by Hall of Famers, by Bubba Ray Dudley, by the Undertaker. I mean, Mickey James, although I think he's getting kicked off for season 2, but yeah, I mean, you've got a factory, you've got a main event scene up through probably WrestleMania 55 at this point.
Speaking of champions, let me ask this guy. I don't think we discussed this on the show yet, but how do you feel about Dakota Kai not getting the IC title? Because I hate it, to be honest. No disrespect. What's her name? She's great. I give her that, but to put it on her, and she's freshly new in the main roster. And Dakota Kai has literally been like, don't get me wrong, me personally, I didn't know nothing about Dakota Kai until I was watching NXT, and her and I forgot the girl name, but Tegan Knox. Okay, yeah. So they was friends on NXT or whatever, and Dakota Kai turned on her, and she had a little heel run, but she was a badass on the heel run, and then she comes up with Io Scott. Yeah, she comes up with Io Scott and Bailey, and you have Damage Control, and as much as we joked about their entrance music and this and that, Io Scott goes off and wins both titles eventually, and then Bailey is the GOAT, and then you just got Dakota Kai just right there, just like tag teaming up, and she's way better in the ring than just having her as a tag team champion. Like she's proving to you that, and then the poor girl tears a knee up twice, and yet on her return, and she getting momentum, like everybody's behind her. You literally see fans behind her. You let her lose to a up and comer, and now don't get me wrong, the IC title ain't hitting right to me. Like with her with the title.
Again, you were thinking of Lara Valkyria.
Yes, Valkyria. Yes,
Valkyria. Who a great talent, great worker, great look, great presence in the ring, but this just like I'm not feeling it.
No,
and I'm not feeling her right now.
No, I'm not. I rather her be the chaser than the champion, because it's more like when is somebody gonna get the title off her at this point? I mean, it's just like, and then don't get me wrong, with old girl in the American Made, she got that look of, she can be dominant, but she's not dominating nobody. Like taking L's left and right, and then even if she has that title on her, let's just face it, American Made has been duped out to be some jobber faction. Like, come on, man. Like
the Creed brothers, they're wasting those two guys.
Yeah, and they're phenomenal in the ring. I seen them like literally. I went to a show in Montgomery and saw them guys, and I was like, "Yo, these guys are like the truth," and like they could be.
They've got Steiner brothers, like early Steiner brothers, written all over them.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And they just being wasting them. They're being wasted. Yeah, like that whole tag team division on Raw could be just like what SmackDown is right now. Like they are featured. They are like this whole big old rivalry between like five different teams. And like you got
Pretty Deadly's in a main event scene in the tag team division. Pretty Deadly comes out to a freaking ABBA song.
You had Nick Aldis like just on the board, like, yo, this happened. This like, come on, like they are
looking like John Madden in his telestrator.
Yeah. And then you got over here, you got like War Machine, excuse me, I don't know what it is now, War Raiders or War whatever. They got the titles, and kudos to them. I want them to have the titles because they are a tag team. But it's like, what are we doing? Like they keep fighting the American Made. It's more tag teams, and if anything, all right, the New Day, with as much heat they have on them, like nuclear, from doing what they did to Big E. Don't you think it would have been best to put those titles on the New Day? Because now you got an established team, like one of the greatest, with the titles. They're walking around showing those titles off. And like now you have all these tag teams trying to gun for them. So now that features the tag team more because of the fact that the titles are on New Day.
That's a lot of wasted potential right there with New Day.
A lot of wasted potential. At this point, even if you as much as I hate to say it, but even if you put the tag team titles on American Made and the IC title on the lady I forgot her name.
Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile, yes. You
Yeah.
put the titles on them. Our guy comes back. I'm about to call him Shorty G.
Oh, please
Chad
Gable.
Gable.
Yeah.
He comes back. All right. Now they walking around, American Made. Yeah, y'all did what I said. Y'all got titles, blah, 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 blah. Cool. I get that. But to sit here and they don't win the titles, and then Chad Gable comes back and he could be like, where's the titles? I thought y'all were going to do what I told y'all to do, and they don't. I mean, obviously, you're just going to have to break them up. It don't make no sense to keep going.
It don't.
It really don't. But, I mean, I'm not a storyteller. I'm not anybody in WWE. So, hey, y'all doing y'all thing. I just, as a fan, that's how I feel about that. But not to go off. Well, I mean, I guess I was trying to show a little love to other segments of the show, but not to get derailed by the big storylines that we have going on. What do you feel as though they're gonna do with Charlotte and Tiffy? Because me personally, that was cool. She came out and attacked Tiff and all this other stuff. But let's just face it. Their matches definitely need to be a triple threat. I'm sorry. Hey, we gotta add somebody in that match. Kind of like a Ronda. Matter of fact, you remember Ronda and Charlotte, and add Becky into it. Do you think they might? This is my personal opinion. If Becky is coming back,
right?
Do you see her getting into that match?
I hadn't thought of it until just now, but I can definitely see it because that match when Tiffy won that title and Charlotte did what she did, and despite all the odds, and I'm saying that with my tongue firmly planted inside my cheek, but winning the Royal Rumble. We were thinking this was going to be like a dream match, but the build on this match has been awful. Like, they are making Tiffany Stratton look like a chump right now.
And I mean, like we said, Ryan, we discussed this in the group so many times. The way you did Charlotte did not need a vignette. She did not need no video package. She did not need none of that. Like, we wanted her back from the jump. We wanted her back. We were literally waiting on her to come back. You could have did one promo of her saying, I am 100% clear. I am ready to go. I will be in the Royal Rumble match. That's it. That is all. That's all we needed.
But you didn't have to do all of the video packages on the back of the yacht.
Nope. Because I thought I was literally watching another Tiffy promo. To be honest with you, I was like, I can't tell the difference between the Queen and Tiff because one has pink, one has all this glittering diamonds and all this other stuff.
Right.
It's like we're getting we're basically getting a goat versus like the goat and her uprising, like how Charlotte was coming up. It's like a ghost of future Christmas past or something. I don't know. It's just like I don't want this match. Like, there's nothing behind this match that's going to make me feel like, ooh, I want to be invested in this match.
It's like Charlotte's tall, Tiffy's short, but they're the same person.
And it's the same person. And you're literally a backflip away from being the same move. Like, your finish move is the figure four leg lock, and your move is the backflip.
Yeah,
and like
the moonsault.
Your move set is almost the same as Charlotte's, and it's like, and I rag on it in the group all the time about this because it's like with Jay, I'm like, bro, are we watching Roman right now? Y'all are doing Roman's spear, and you know, like I'm glad that he got the kudos from. I'm sure he got it from The Rock. Would he do the little punch and then he do the little right there? That's great. That's something new. That's something that's giving homage to The Rock, but also that's something with your little flair in it. But with this Tiffy and Charlotte match, it got to be night one, and it got to be the first match of the night. If it's still gonna be the build the way it's going, it definitely got to get out of the way because it's no build, it's no anticipation, it's no excitement, it's nothing. It's more of a if we had those back, it's more of a pregame match. You know how they used to show pregame matches
The pre-show
before
match, yep.
pre-show matches. Yeah, it's a pre-show match at this point.
Which is a shame because the match itself could be an absolute banger.
Oh, it could be a banger, yeah.
But the build has been awful. The build has been absolutely awful. And I feel like the only way they can save that is to have Tiffany go over. But I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell of that happening.
No.
Which is a shame because Tiffany Stratton is a massive talent.
I bet it was like, hey, Charlie, you know, you coming back? How you feel about getting eliminated? But no, I'm not getting eliminated. I want to win the Royal Rumble. Okay, all right. So how about this? You win the Royal Rumble. Tiffany is going to have the belt. You can take the loss to Tiffany. No, that don't sound good to me either.
Oh, that don't work. That don't work for me, brother.
That's not good for business, brother.
Yeah, it's not good for business, brother. Yeah.
But I feel like the way it's going, if it keeps going the way it's going, it's either going to have to be Becky coming back or somebody has to get in that match. You know, Alexa Bliss, I wouldn't mind, but I feel like Alexa, which they haven't even touched on that from Elimination Chamber. They may touch it tomorrow night, but with her giving that death stare to live, I feel like she's going to be joining in with the Wyatt Six, and maybe her and Nikki go after the tag team titles. So
could be.
Which her and Nikki are former tag team champions together. So I totally forgot all about it.
Yeah. I mean, we still got a lot to touch on. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
All right. One more topic I want to touch on before we wrap up here for this episode. Okay. We got to talk about Bianca Belair. We got to talk about Naomi. We got to talk about Jade Cargill. We got to talk about the way that is unfolding, because I feel like, first of all, if you haven't seen that segment, it's one of the more compelling in-ring segment, just talking segments that I have seen on SmackDown in a long time. Second of all, I feel like there's more to this, because I don't feel like this whole "I did it for you, Bianca, I did it for you, B." I feel like there's more to that. I feel like there's like I want to see Bianca involved, almost as like a puppet master in this.
Yeah.
But I feel like there has to be something else involved, because it doesn't make sense to me other than just out of pure jealousy. Because Jade Cargill came in, she's got the great entrance, she's got the great look, she's got, she was tag team champions. It's like, I don't like the motivation still seems to be missing for me a little bit.
I can understand why. Now, granted, it could be more appealing if Bianca has something to do with it, and she ends up being the puppet master. But I truly believe that it is because of jealousy. Because if you go back, right, and Jade comes out first night ever, Royal Rumble. I think it was 2023, was it? 24?
24, I believe, yeah.
Okay. So when she came out, and everybody was like, "Who's this? Who's this?" Oh, it was Jade and Jade. And it was the same night that Naomi came back and returned from TNA, right?
Mhm.
And Jade eliminated Naomi. And then, you go from there on, and like you said, you get featured, you get all this and all that, and the whole promotion and all this other stuff, and yet Naomi is just like flying on the coattails. She's getting title matches and all this other stuff, but she's taking loss. Like Naomi was not getting that many wins at all. She got the win with Jade and Bianca, but it was more like Bianca and Jade, and Naomi was just the third wheel in that match.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she goes on to win the title, loses it, and then win the title again, with Bianca with the tag team titles. And, Naomi is not even mentioned, talked about, none of that. And, it takes her, quote unquote, doing it for Bianca to, I guess, what is that saying? Somebody that's it's your fault, but you put it on everybody else. Like you pointing the finger at everybody else but yourself.
Gaslighting.
Like, gaslighting. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was gaslighting. You know what I mean? She's like,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I mean, I did it, but I did it for you. Like, like Jay comes in and nobody's talking about you. That's a lie, Naomi. Bianca is like one of the tops. Like she's always been featured in a title match. She's always been featured in some type of match of importance. She's not out here fighting Nia Jax and getting demolished every night.
Right.
And then is at first I thought it was going to be the same as Rikishi and The Rock, but with that one, he was doing it for The Rock. But when you look at this one, she was doing it for herself. I mean, like at the end of the day, she was jealous of Jade.
Yeah.
She was jealous of the fact that they was pushing her to be one of the top faces on that particular show, Raw or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
While Naomi is just, kick back, looking at everybody else getting their shine on. While her glow was getting overlooked.
Yeah. Well, I feel, I can see that. I can definitely see that because, when she was in TNA, she was a champion.
Yeah.
But when she came back to WWE, not only was she out of the main event picture when she first came in, but she was getting overshadowed because that was also the first, that Royal Rumble last year was also the first time that Jordynne Grace came over.
Yeah.
And they had that big stare down.
Yeah.
So I can almost see it like the jealousy, the pettiness, the, kind of the just I don't give a F.
Yeah. Or the as some people like to say, the old head versus the new blood.
Mm-hmm.
You out here getting all these talents from other promotions, and yet I'm like, the one that been here. Even though I left, I came back, and I should be getting like the red carpet and all the the premieres and stuff. I should be featured, showing my face. Me and my husband should be out, this and that and third, representing WWE. But you getting people that ain't WWE coming in, and they getting better pushes than me.
Exactly. And
So
I kind of feel like that, like, now that you explain it, I kind of feel like that's kind of the motivation of it, just kind of the jealousy and the pettiness. But I still feel like there's another layer to this that we haven't seen yet.
I'm glad you said that, because like to piggyback off of that statement, I did see something. I wish I would have sent it to the group or maybe had a pin mark on it. But it was interesting if you go back and look at Elimination Chamber, and when Jade gets into that ring or on her way to the ring, as a matter of fact, Naomi looks back at Bianca, and Bianca's looking at Naomi and whatnot. And as she's on her way to the ring, you notice Bianca is kind of like taking her jacket off. Like, I don't know if she needs to take it off or what. So it's like, was she preparing herself for a potential fight with Jade? Or was it just like, she was just hyped up, or like, oh yeah, my girl coming, like, you know what I'm saying, I got to get my jacket off so we can stomp, live out, or what? But then to turn around and she is beating the holy hell out of Naomi, it was more of like, oh shit, what is going on? So it's like, I don't really know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one that I can't wait to see unfold. And I'm glad they finally started moving this forward, because I was thinking that, because I was almost thinking that was going to be like if you remember from Pulp Fiction, the briefcase that John Travolta opened with the glowing thing, and like we never know what it was, and it was just a total MacGuffin the whole time.
Right. And just the fact that Naomi called her a bitch, like, I feel like next week they need to address that. They need to have Bianca versus Naomi in a match, just to address the bitch situation. And then Jay comes out kind of not interfering in a sense, but like coming out and it distracts Naomi to lead Bianca getting the win. And then, they start that whole beef with Naomi and Jade again or whatever. But I feel like you can't have Jade beating up Naomi the entire time going up to WrestleMania. You got to have Naomi, got to get her get back some type of way.
No, she's got to get her look back. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, I hope it, because I have a soft spot for Tamina. It's not necessarily talked about a lot, that like Tamina to me was not necessarily overlooked necessarily, but kind of like she kind of had that the bad case of a bad card handed to her. Like, she had the look of a dominant superstar, and she's part of like one of the most iconic families of all time. And like, why she didn't get a push? You know what I mean? So like, and I don't know if she's done with wrestling or whatever, but like that'll be a nice little thing to get her back and be like what Raquel is to Liv, in a sense. Not saying I want her to be the bodyguard to Naomi, but kind of like the peer with Naomi. They start a little thing together and just, put her back in some stuff and like maybe let her win if they do this. I don't know if we have a mid-card title yet in SmackDown or whatever for the women, but like, let her win that or help Naomi win that or whatever. So
yeah, well, there's a lot to talk about, but yeah, no, this. I have so much fun recording these episodes, man. I can't wait to do it next week.
I can't wait to do it next week either. Yeah, for sure.
All right, my brother. Well, that'll do it for episode 4 of the Wrasslin Wroundtable. For Dom, I'm Ryan. We thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And until we yeet again, so long for now.
Thank y'all.